Jordan, first question.
Awesome. You know, Penn State, obviously a team that had a great start to the non-conference season, but in Big Ten they've kind of had a slow start. You know, what are some things they do particularly well, but what are some of the things also you see that they've also had a slow start to the Big Ten season because of?
Well, they're definitely they're a big hustle team. They hustle on the court a lot, and they make a lot of tough plays and win a lot of loose balls. That is you know, a big key to their success, and we have to come out with a lot of energy and win those 50-50 balls a lot, you know, throughout the whole game.
Nick, a couple games into the Big Ten season, what have you already learned about the league that maybe you weren't ready for?
Well, I mean, a lot like all the leagues, anyone can win on any given night, and conference play is definitely the toughest part of the year because teams know each other so well, and whether you're playing at home or on the road, it really doesn't matter. It's going to be a tough physical night every game, every night.
What do you feel you guys are really doing well right now, and where do you feel you really need to improve?
I think we're just getting better every day with every aspect of the game. Moving forward, we definitely need to you know, keep working on things like rebounding and taking care of the ball and getting stops and rebounds, because once we get stops and rebounds, we flow well offensively.
Collin, I guess they've had sort of that Newbill Frazier dynamic for a little while with 2, maybe 3 high-scoring guards in the backcourt. Now it's just Newbill. What's different about how they use him, watching them this year as opposed to last year, without a guy like Tim Frazier that you also have to prepare for with Penn State?
I mean, they still have a lot of guys. Travis Ross, I mean, they're very easy to do, but all those guys, they have a lot of skilled guys still. They're a very good program. They work very, very hard. Like Nick said, they come with a lot of loose balls. They're always tracking them down. So that we have to match their toughness, and we have to stick to our game plan, and just know personnel and know what people do. And so, I mean, they're a great team. We just got to match their intensity.
What's the key to sustaining the level of the way you guys rebounded and blocked out at Ohio State? And then obviously it didn't happen at Michigan State. What's the key to sustaining the Ohio State performance for a stretch of 4, 5, 6 games the rest of the season?
I mean, definitely getting mentally prepared for every game is a big key, and sticking to the game plan. And then, you know, for the most part, just playing with toughness. You got to play with toughness every night in this league, and in most leagues. If you're going to win at a high rate, you have to play with physical and mental toughness every night. Was
that almost contagious when it started happening? You know, you got to that slow start, and then all of a sudden it kicked in. And you guys contributed to that coming off the bench. Would that become contagious where everybody kind of feeds off, you know, this guy does a great block out, so I want to do a great block out, that type thing?
We've been talking a lot about not letting your teammate down, not letting your comrade down. And, that's where that comes into play. 4 guys do their job and 1 person doesn't, then there's no point in those other 4 guys doing their job because one person let them down, and then the purpose was not there. And I think we really been focused on not letting your teammate down. So if everybody does their job, and in this case, boxing out and running the floor or whatnot, playing defense, then it all works. But if you don't, then you're letting your teammate down, and that's really something that we've been focusing on.
What have you guys seen in Emmett lately? He said after the Ohio State game that he's just really felt a lot more comfortable recently, I guess, that maybe it's finally kind of come for him rapidly in the last few weeks. Is it just kind of something that maybe once you start to get that comfort, like Collin talking about as a guy who was just a freshman last year, once you start to get that comfort, it comes a lot faster, it almost comes exponentially?
Yes, definitely. And us older guys and all the young guys and coaching staff always preaching confidence. If you go in the game with confidence and you know what you have to do already because you've been working on it all week or whatever, and if you just go in with confidence, you're going to play so much better, so much more relaxed, but with a high intensity. I think that's something he's really doing well lately, is playing with confidence because he knows what he's supposed to do. He's not out there second-guessing himself or out there just thinking too much. So he's going out with confidence because he knows what he needs to do, and everybody's doing a great job just keeping everybody's confidence levels up. And so, I mean, the game will come to you if you just do what you're supposed to do.
Nick, is there any kind of advantage for you and especially the freshmen with so many guys who haven't been through the league before. The first time through, does that give you guys any kind of advantage because other teams don't have any personal experience of playing against you?
Maybe a little bit, but with how tough this league is, it's not to the point where it really comes down to that. We prepare so well every game, and other teams do as well, that they're going to know the personnel regardless of if they've seen you or not. So I mean, it could be a little bit, but not so much that it could be a deciding factor, I don't think.
Collin, you knew you guys were going to be small this year, and most teams have kind of stayed big when you guys go small, but Ohio State, as soon as you came in the second half, they take Williams out and they go smaller and kind of match you. Is that, I mean, how much of a part of what you guys are trying to do is getting other teams to force them to play small and like match you, and how much of a factor do you think that'll be going against some other teams in the Big Ten?
I think we just play to us majority of the time, play to our strengths. We have our game plans and stuff, but it's not really to make a team put certain guys in or whatnot. It's just we do what we're supposed to do, and we have our coverages and coverages and all that stuff. So we kind of just go what we do best and what our game plan is. So if it means them playing different guys, then that's it. But we go with what we know we're capable of doing, and just go out there and execute.
Does it give you any sort of satisfaction just to know that a team with all those big guys, they fear you so much as a threat offensively that they're gonna downsize to match you and bring one of their starters out of the game?
I mean, it brings confidence to us. We know we can get out and run. We're a very fast-paced team. That's one of our strengths, and we're really working on the defensive end to, like everybody's saying, box out more and be able to play when we have people down or in foul trouble or whatnot. So we just got to play to our strengths. So yeah, it brings confidence to us.
The art of being productive off the bench. You guys obviously were very productive against Ohio State. What does it take, for instance, if you go in right off the bench and you're open for three, do you immediately take it? Do you want to run up and down the court a couple times to warm up, especially if you've been sitting for 10 minutes? What's the process so that you can make the plays that you need to make?
Well, regardless if you're coming off the bench or not, you just have to be ready to play in the game. You can't, have your mind elsewhere. You have to have your mind on your job the moment you step a foot on the floor. So regardless of if you get to run up and down the court a few times, you still have to make that first stop if you go straight in on defense, or you still have to make that first pass, or make a play for somebody else if you come right out on offense. So yeah, and then whenever starters go down to the bench as well from their first time out, they have to be ready to go right back in as well. So there's not really a point of coming in and you wanting to hit that first three. It's just being ready to play from the get-go.
I mean, so do you feel comfortable if you run in and you get a wide open three and you've been in the game 3 seconds and you've been sitting for 10, you shoot it or you're fine?
Well, that's where time score and whatnot comes in. One of the famous lines that Coach always preaches to us is play on demand. Whether it's the first 30 seconds or the last 30 seconds, you know your job, and you got to always be mentally and physically ready to come in and do that. So if the time and score calls for you to step in and knock down a three, and that's the first time you stepped on the court, then you got to be mentally ready and prepared to do that.
For both of you guys.
Well, I got one more question. I got to let it go.
All right, for both of you guys, is too much made of starting and coming off the bench in your eyes?
As long as the team is in their rotations and they all know their jobs, I would care less, and I think a lot of us could care less as well. We're a very close unit, and we just want to get the win in the end, and whatever it takes, whoever starts, whoever comes off the bench, whoever is the star of the game, if it's Stan, Emmett, Yogi, or James, regardless, we just want to get that win.
Yeah, it's not a factor. As long as everybody knows their role and knows what they're supposed to do and comes in the game ready to go, it doesn't really matter. It's just part of the game. Somebody's got to do it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, just so you know, when you get